Good noon, all of you. How are you all? I hope all of you are hale and hearty. Right, so today's topic is a grammar topic again, and we're going to talk about tenses. Though they seem to be a simple topic, yet I've seen tenses troubling students. That's why I thought to keep this whole session on tenses. Right. So before we proceed, note down your YouTube schedule for the day. So you meet me at 12 p.m. every day, remember that, on YouTube. Okay. Alright, and do subscribe to our channel, press the bell icon to receive automatic updates. If you like today's session, do press the like button, that helps us a lot. Okay, also your feedback is valued. Right? And yes, if your friends are preparing for any entrance exam where grammar appears, then this will actually help them. This session will be of help to them. Okay, so do share it with them. Alright. Good noon, Sachin. Jai Hind, Sanket. Okay, so before I begin with the questions, now one thing that I want you to know is that, see, tenses have to be studied, have to be done in that methodical manner, right? Wherein we talk about present simple, present continuous, present perfect continuous. Okay, so in that methodical order, you have to learn all the three tenses. Yet your exams are not going to ask you, let's say, they'll not give you a sentence and ask you, okay, which tense is this sentence in? That's not going to happen. You'll be asked the application. So ultimately, what is it that you have to know? You have to know how to correct a sentence, how to spot an error in a sentence. That's what we'll be doing today. Okay, so let's, yes, Vaibhav, there is some background noise, unfortunately, some construction going on here, okay, and I'm not able to somehow diminish this noise, okay. Is my voice audible? Am I audible to all of you? Clearly audible? Sanket, Sachin. Tell me. Okay, so Harish says yes. So I'll speak loudly, okay, and try to manage today. Yes, tomorrow I'll see if I can do something, okay. All right. So you have to find the correct sentence here, okay, and some of you have already started responding. Prachi has answered, Sanket has answered. What do the others say? Yes, tell me. You have to find the correct sentence. Perfect. Okay. Let's see, what do the others say? Okay. All right. Any other option? So I've got B and C so far, and I've got 5-6 responses so far. Why is that? Okay. All right. I've got one A also. All right. Okay. So a lot of you say B. Very good. B is the correct answer. Okay. Now, let us see what are the errors in these sentences. Okay. And notice how this will actually make you aware of the usage of tenses. Our focus, as I said, is on usage of tenses. Remember, tenses are a property of a verb. So it is always a verb that changes its tense in a sentence. Okay. So I'm happy that just one of you has said A. A is incorrect. Why? This is a very specific case. Whenever we have exclamatory sentences that begin with here and there, exclamatory sentences beginning with here and there, they are always in present simple. They are always in present simple. This is continuous. The ing form is continuous. So it should be there she goes. There she goes. Here she comes. There she goes. Okay, always in the present simple tense whenever we have an exclamatory sentence beginning with here and there. Right? Very good. Now, good that you spotted this. My question is that even though I'm saying tomorrow morning, why is it that I'm using the present simple? I understand that you've heard such sentences and that's why you feel, acha, ye to correct hai. This is how we use this, we say is along with tomorrow morning whenever we talk about flights, whenever we talk about the departure of trains. Okay, so intuitively you have guessed correctly, right? And the thing is, whenever something follows a schedule, an official timetable, right? For instance, let's say there is a store that opens every day at the same time. So today, if I'm talking about the store, today let's say it has closed now. Tomorrow it will open at 7 a.m. So instead of saying that the store will open tomorrow at 7 a.m., because it opens every day at 7 a.m., I can also say the store opens at 7 a.m. Right? So schedule, official timetable, whenever that is being followed, then we use the present simple. This is correct, even though it's something that will happen tomorrow morning. Okay, some of you have also said C. All right, let's see some of your queries along with. Good afternoon, Nikita. Sanket is saying, I get confused in past perfect tenses. Okay, all right, past participle that is used in the perfect tenses. How to improve on that? All right, I'll tell you. So let's come to a question of the perfect tense. There I'll talk about it. Now, if it will rain, we will get wet. See, commonsensically, whoever is marked C is not wrong, because see, it has not rained yet. It's a future event and we haven't got wet yet. It's again a future event. So in an ideal world, this should be correct. But the rule of grammar goes that whenever I talk about a condition, a future condition, then see, this is the condition part and this is the outcome part, isn't it? This is the condition and this is the outcome. Then even though this is a future event, the condition part will always be in the present simple. Always in the present simple. So if it rains, we will get wet. That is what will be the correct sentence. Condition wala verb will always be in the present simple. Remember that. Okay. Now, option D. What's wrong with this? Are you understanding what I'm saying? What's wrong with this? Tell me. See, there are certain verbs that are not used as verbs in the present continuous tense. Okay, so here this is a verb. You are performing some action, right? This has been used as a verb. So to know, to recognize, to understand. Okay, these are such verbs. To know, to recognize, to understand. They are not used in the continuous form, whenever I talk about them as a verb. Okay, why am I stressing this again and again whenever I talk about them as a verb? That's because if I use it as a noun, understanding is the key to progress. If I say that, understanding is the key to progress, or understanding is the key element in any relationship. Now I'm not using it as a verb, so now it can have an ing. Now it is simply a noun. But as a verb, it cannot have an ing. So do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, that is what the sentence should be. All right. Okay. I apologize for the noise. I understand that there is some today. Okay. So far, has everything been clear? So far, whatever I've said? Tell me. Okay. Then when we say Vinay is having a laptop, so is having, is it correct to use it in the continuous form when I talk about possession or ownership? No, it is not. When I talk about it in the sense of possessing something, in the sense of owning something, then it should not be used in the continuous tense. So Vinay has a laptop, not Vinay is having a laptop. Okay, so is having is incorrect. However, if you're having lunch, so in the sense of eating, you can use it in the continuous form, right? So Vinay is having lunch, fine, but Vinay is having a laptop, not fine. Okay, so through these 5 sentences, we learned 5 rules. One was about exclamatory sentences beginning from here and there. One was about things that follow a pre-arranged schedule, an official timetable. Then about conditions and outcomes. About certain verbs not being used in the progressive tense or the continuous tense. And lastly, yeah, the same rule for D and D. Has in this sense can't be used in the progressive tense. Right? So I hope you will remember these. Now, let's come to the next question. Okay. Very easy question. Quickly tell me what should be the answer. Okay. All right. I've got 2 responses. Okay. All right. Perfect. All of you are correct. D is the answer here. Now, this is the present perfect tense. Present perfect tense. Now, in the present perfect tense, we use what we refer to as the participle form of the verb or the third form of the verb. Simply speaking, the third form of the verb. So, eat, ate, eaten. So, eaten is the third form, right? Then, if I say run, ran, run. So, run is the third form, right? So, we use the third forms of the verb here. Now, in case you get confused when to use the the present perfect or the past perfect or the future perfect, basically, in case you get confused where to use the perfect tense, see, this word itself means complete. Yes, it means complete. So for just completed actions, you would use the present perfect tense, just completed actions. Okay, or for those actions, you know, when we say I have never known him to be angry, so this has never happened, right? Here the exact time point is not important because never has been used here. So similarly, if let's say I say I have done my masters, I have completed my masters, right? So the time point is not important here. What I'm trying to tell you is that, okay, I have done it. So when the time point is not important or when the action is just completed, that's when you use the present perfect. We'll also look at past perfect and future perfect, okay, when we come to them, and you'll realize when to use which. Okay, so here I have never known him to be angry. The exact time point is not important because I've already used never. Here, maybe it's not known, maybe it's not important. That's why I have not used any time point. Okay, also, okay, yes, Nikita, which question do you want me to explain? I've just read your message. Just mention the question number, okay? Also, one more thing, because I just told you that no is not used in the continuous form as a verb, you should have very easily rejected C and E. Rejected outrightly. Can't be used in the continuous tense. Okay? All right. Let's see. Another question here. This time you have to find the incorrect sentence. Okay, find the incorrect sentence. 5 new rules we are going to learn through this. Yes. in MAHCET, see, I have seen very easy grammar questions also, and I have seen some time consuming grammar questions also. Okay, I haven't seen difficult grammar questions, but I have seen some ambiguous grammar questions where, let's say, I felt that more than one part was erroneous, but there were no options for that. So these are the kinds of questions that I've seen. So they are you could call them a mixed bag because of the ambiguous questions, but otherwise there are not very difficult questions, right? That is why we are focusing on grammar. Okay, some of them can be time consuming, but of course any day they would be less time consuming than, let's say, a whole RC passage or a whole parajumble question. Okay, so C, E, that's what I've got. C you say is incorrect, E you say is incorrect. Okay, any other option? Yes, easy to moderate, easy to moderate. Some of them are going to be very easy questions. Okay, so mostly you are saying C and E, and I've got one A, right? Majority says C out of these. Let's see. So because there is tomorrow, that's why one of you says this is wrong, there is tomorrow, so it should be will arrive tomorrow, right? You are not incorrect in saying will arrive tomorrow, but even this is not incorrect. Why? When I talk about personal pre-arranged events that have already been arranged for, right? So for them, even though they are future events, I can use the present continuous. Even though they are future events, tomorrow, I can use the present continuous. It is not incorrect. We say this all the time. No, oh, she's coming tomorrow. Okay, let's meet her. She's coming tomorrow. We say this all the time. Why? Because it's a pre-arranged event. That is the assumption that we operate under. Okay, and that is when we are allowed to say this. So A is correct. Okay. Got it, Nikita. What is gone? Is that false? What is gone? Is that false? Probably you're talking about E, right? E is the answer here. E is the incorrect sentence. In case you were waiting eagerly for the answer, this is incorrect. I'll come to it. Let's go in a serial order. So B says my sister is going to have a baby, right? Why am I using is going to along with this? She hasn't yet had a baby, right? So it's a future event. Why am I saying is going to? So here comes the difference between will versus going to. When I am more certain about the future, when let's say something has been pre-decided or preparations for something have been made or evidence for something can be seen. So pre-decided, preparations have been made, or something we can see the evidence for that thing, then it is more appropriate. In fact, you should use going to in that case. So of course my sister must be pregnant. That's why I'm saying my sister is going to have a baby. So there is evidence, right? And that's why is going to is absolutely correct here. Okay, so the difference is will versus going to. That's what I wanted to focus on. C. Yes, Varsha, is going to arrive tomorrow. That is also fine when, let's say, preparations for it have been made. Again, the conditions that I told you, right? So my aunt is going to arrive tomorrow. Even that is absolutely fine. Okay, if it's pre-decided, if preparations for it have been made, if you've seen her ticket, you have the evidence. Okay, even that is fine. All right. Then coming to C. Most of you say that this is wrong. This is actually correct. Okay, I understand that because of this always, you must have thought, okay, this is a habit and therefore for a habit I should use the simple tense, present simple, right? She always runs in the park, he always sings at 10 a.m. right? We use the present simple. Why am I using the continuous tense here? Okay, so the rule is this, that when I talk about persistent habits, when I talk about obstinate habits, persistent, obstinate habits, when I talk about them, that probably, I'm trying to show that they are continuing despite warning, okay, despite my annoyance, then I will use the present continuous. तब हम continuous form use करते हैं. Remember this important rule. He's always chewing gum in the class. So persistent, obstinate habit. She's always surfing internet in the class. Persistent, obstinate habit. So here also her dog is very silly. He's always running out into the road. Not he always runs out into the road. That would be incorrect. Okay. So C is absolutely fine. D. I'm thinking of having lunch. So although nobody has marked this, I am thinking of is absolutely fine here, and having is also absolutely fine here. When you are considering the idea of something, you are mulling over a fact, thinking about it, reflecting on it, right? Considering the idea of something, you can use the continuous form. I'm thinking about this. Okay, so absolutely fine. This one is incorrect. A seemingly harmless error, but it's not harmless. Whenever you mention the time point, if you've mentioned the time point, then you can't use the present perfect. Vinay went to Goa last week, not Vinay has gone to Goa last week. Similarly, I can't say I have done my master's in 2015. That would be incorrect, because if I mentioned a time point, then I should say I did my master's in 2015. Okay, always remember this. When you mention a time point, you can't mention the present perfect. Okay. So Nikita has a query in this question. There she is going. So Nikita, the rule runs like this, that whenever you have an exclamatory sentence that begins with here or there, an exclamatory sentence beginning with here or there, you use the present simple in it. The verb should be in the present simple form. So here she comes. If let's say somebody is coming towards you, you would say here she comes. Somebody is going away from you, there he goes. Okay, always the present simple. So अब ये clear हो गए हमें these three questions. Okay, now again let's see what you mark. Yes, there are a lot of rules in grammar. Okay, but the more you read, the more sense you get of these rules subconsciously. Automatically you imbibe those rules. So reading helps you in grammar as well. Okay. How is into the road correct? Okay. Should it not be onto the road? A good question, Sairish. Let's see. So Sairish is saying, why am I saying out into the road? Why am I not saying out onto the road? So usually, yes, we should use onto the road because we treat the road as a surface. We treat the road as a surface, right? But in case this person is treating that as an area, a three-dimensional thing, then this person can say into the road. So if I am treating outside as an area, I am treating the road as an area where the dog runs and not really a surface, I can say out into the road. It's not incorrect. It depends on the intention of the speaker. Usually, yes, it should be onto the road because usually we treat roads as surfaces, not as areas. But into incorrect nahi hai. ठीक है? Okay. Now, coming to this question. All right. A lot of you have already answered. Yes, Nikita, there she goes. Just saw your message. There she goes. Here she comes. A, all right. Okay. Chalo. Most of you say A here and you are correct. Okay. Now, why not C? That's my question. Why did you reject C? Okay, Nikita, I'll tell that in and into. Let's get done with this question. Then I will. So, remember I talked to you about certain verbs that cannot be used in the continuous tense? Yes. So, know, recognize, understand. Similarly, certain verbs of our senses like see, hear, okay, they should not be used in the continuous tense. So, for instance, I see him. If let's say you currently you are able to spot someone, okay, yes, I see him. You should not say, yes, I am seeing him. That would be incorrect. Okay, if you say I am seeing him, that means you are dating that person. Seeing has that meaning, to date someone. So in the sense of looking, okay, you should not use it in the continuous tense. There is nothing like I am seeing him, I was seeing him in this sense. If you are seeing him, you are dating him. If you were seeing him, you were dating him. Okay, so this is absolutely incorrect in this context. Okay, then we will not have seen him for several months. The natural question that arises is why the future here? And when will you have not seen him for several months? At what point in future are you talking about? So by the fall of 2023, we will not have seen him for several months. By the summer of 2023, we will not have seen him for several months. That would have made sense. कि कब ऐसा होगा कि अच्छा हमें उसे देखे हुए बहुत ज़्यादा months हो जाएंगे. Right now it does not make any sense. So we have not seen him for several months. Okay, this is the correct form here. Now, we have not been able to see him. Yes, that would also be fine. We have not been able to see him. We have not been able to see him for several months. This just adds my own inability. Okay, this adds my own inability to the picture. That's it. Okay. Long time no see. Yes, this is an idiomatic usage. Okay, long time no see. Okay, this is an idiomatic informal usage that okay, it's been a long time and I haven't seen you. So yeah, A is the answer here. I hope this is clear. Now, what was the question? In and into. The difference between in and into. Let's see the difference between on and onto also. Into and onto indicate movement. Into and onto indicate movement. So if I say he jumped dash the pool, he jumped dash the pool, I shouldn't use in. I should use into because there is movement, right? Whereas if let's say somebody is already inside, just lying inside, right? So you could say he is in his room. He is in his room. There is no movement here, right? He's in his room. You can go and see him, right? So that's the difference between in and into. Here the dog ran. There was movement. That's why we used into. Okay, same is the case with on and onto. Same case on and onto. Onto indicates movement. So the books fell onto the floor would be more appropriate. On is not incorrect there, remember. Prepositions are like that. Okay, they're a product of custom and convention. So the books fell on the floor is also not incorrect, but onto would be the bang on word there, right? Because there is movement. The books are lying onto the floor would be incorrect. अगर मैंने बोल दिया the books are lying onto the floor, no, lying है ना, on ही आना चाहिए, right? That's how it works. I hope this is clear. Okay, yeah. Let's move to our next question. So I hope you've been reading the messages that our team is sending you from time to time. Yes. So do read them, do pay attention to them. Okay. Now find the correct sentence. Okay. Let's see what you mark. Waiting for your response. Okay. All right. Okay. 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 So a lot of B's, some C's, one E, others. All right. चलो बहुत सारे B's आ गए हैं, right? So these are the responses that I have got. You feel that 2 and 3, majority of you feel that 2 and 3 are correct. Okay, what's wrong with 1? What's wrong with 1? Past habits. Okay, let's talk about habits in a detail. Present habits. She always wakes up at 7 a.m. Present habit. For present normal habit, we use the present simple. For present obstinate habit, we use the present continuous. Present normal habit, simple. Present obstinate habit, continuous. Right? Past habit. Again, past normal habit, past simple. Past normal habit, past simple. अब carrying an umbrella कोई annoying habit तो नहीं है ना? ऐसा तो नहीं है कि annoy कर रहा है आपको, right? So it's a normal habit. Diya always carried an umbrella. Always carried an umbrella. This is absolutely fine. No error here. If it had been an obstinate habit of the past की कोई annoying, persistent, obstinate habit होती, in that case I would have used the past continuous. Diya was always surfing internet in the class. Okay. Diya was always chewing gum in the class. Right. Past habits. Let's say she was earlier my student. She is now not my student. Okay. So past obstinate habit. I hope this is clear. So 1 is correct. Now, if 1 is correct, then either this or this, that is the answer. We will know our exam results in January. This is also fine. हमें जनवरी में पता लगेंगे results. We will know our exam results in January. Absolutely fine. At some point in the future, I will get to know my exam results. So 2 is fine. Okay. So Sahrish, Abhilash, then Siddhant, Prachi, Vaibhav, Nikita. Is this clear? Why they are always carried an umbrella is fine? Because it could be a past normal habit, no? वो हमेशा करती थी umbrella carry. Okay? I hope this is clear now. I've just seen your messages. All right. Now, 1 and 2 are fine. So either 1 and 2. Yeah, in fact, 1 and 2 would be the answer. C is the answer here. Okay. This is incorrect, in fact. She has carry क्यों नहीं? Carry भी गलत नहीं है. But my point is carried भी गलत नहीं है. Okay. For a past normal habit, you can use the past simple tense. So they are always carried an umbrella. Some of you might be thinking, why have I not used a time point? Because it's a habit. Habit के साथ अगर मैंने always use कर दिया, that's enough. Okay. All right. Now, she has decided to sell her car as she will buy a bike. Okay, so what's the error? The error is very, very subtle here. So, remember I told you something, will versus going to. For events that are pre-decided, basically for which preparations have been made, where you've taken your decision or where we have some evidence, we should prefer, in fact, we should use going to. Okay. So here, preparations. She has decided to sell her car as she is going to buy a bike. She has decided to sell her car as she is going to buy a bike. Is going to is any day a better construction as it's a pre-decided thing. Okay. So 1 and 2 are correct here. Very good, Vipul, that you recognize this. Okay. Yes, Nikita, a good point that you've raised. I could also say Diya always used to carry an umbrella. Diya always used to carry an umbrella. Even that is perfectly fine. So both these constructions are correct, and usually students think that this is erroneous because we are used to this structure. Okay, but the thing is both of them are correct. Diya always used to carry an umbrella. Diya always carried an umbrella. I hope this is clear. So 1 and 2 are the correct ones here. And now I'm hoping that you'll remember the difference between will versus will and going to. Yeah. Okay. Let's look at this. Spot the error here. Let's see what you say. Okay. Okay. All right. So I've got 3 responses. Okay. All right. A lot of you say no. Okay. 3 of you say B, as in 3 of you say 2. 4 of you say 2. Okay. Okay. 2 and 3 में confusion है ऐसा लग रहा है, right? चलो देखते हैं क्या होना चाहिए. Should it be 2? Should it be 3? Diya had been writing. Is this correct to say since 5 years? Since 5 years. What is the difference between these two prepositions? For treats time as a duration. Since treats time as a point. Yes? So point is, let's say 10 a.m. Thursday 1999. These are points. Durations are 5 years, 2 weeks, 10 months. These are durations. So here we have a duration. It could not have been since. 4 आना चाहिए था. तो अब 4 आना चाहिए था. So that means this. I mean, B is erroneous definitely. 3 is not the answer. Now, Diya had been writing for 5 years when her first manuscript had got accepted. Is had got correct here? No, this is the erroneous part, and that's why 2 is the answer here. Let's see why. So now pay attention. This is past perfect continuous tense. Past perfect continuous tense. When is this used? Let's say there are 2 actions that happened in the past. 2 actions that happened in the past. One started earlier. Of course, the other started later. Now, if the first one started before the second one and has continued at least up till this point, it is expected to continue even further. When the first action started before the second action and has continued up to the present point and is expected to continue even further, that is when I use the past perfect continuous. So Diya had been writing, और perfect मतलब completed, right? So perfect वाले action के साथ जो पहले start हो गया था उसके साथ हम लगाते हैं had. ये पहले start हो गया था, इसके साथ had आना चाहिए. ये वाला तो बाद में हुआ है ना, मैन्यूस्क्रिप्ट बाद में एक्सेप्ट हुई है, इसके साथ had नहीं आता, यहाँ पर past simple आता है. We use the past simple here. Okay, when her first manuscript got accepted, not had got accepted. So Diya had been writing for 5 years. So this duration is 5 years. Diya had been writing for 5 years when her manuscript got accepted. Okay, I hope this makes sense. 2 is the answer. Good, Deepti. Okay, it should be got accepted. Correct, Prachi, it should be 4. Okay, so B and C. So remember these rules, okay, about the perfect tense, about the perfect continuous tense, and I'm showing these rules to you through application, because ultimately the examiner is not going to tell you, see, perfect continuous ka error hai. Examiner will just give you a sentence. You'll have to figure out the error on your own. Okay, let's see this question now. Fill in the blanks. A good question. Okay, all right. Okay. Okay, a lot of you say C. I mean, I've got a lot of C's. Okay. Vaibhav says B. Vaibhav is going against the tide. He says B. Both the Vaibhavs say B. Okay. A, B, C. Primarily, this is what I have got. Yes, so that was my point behind making this question. Okay, so all these questions I've created myself, and the idea was to cover various rules through these questions. Good that you've eliminated D and E. Those are the ones that I wanted you to eliminate. Now, so I have told you a number of rules. I have talked to you about schedules, official timetables, basically official schedules and timetable. That's how I should put it. Official schedule and timetable. I have talked to you about this. Then I have also talked to you about pre-arranged events. But remember, when I mentioned pre-arranged events, I used the word personal. There was a reason behind it. Why I said personal pre-arranged events when we talked about his aunt is arriving tomorrow. There was a reason behind it. And similarly, when I talked about this thing, schedule, I used the word official. Yes, that was the distinction here that you needed to remember. So, while this is something that is going to happen in the future, so honestly speaking, simply उसे will arrive use करना चाहिए था. If we lived in an ideal world where things happened as we wished, right? This should not have been. This should have been basically will arrive because ये future का problem है, ठीक है? But usage is what governs this. I should not use is arriving because it's not a personal event. It doesn't look like a personal event, the Prime Minister going to the Rajghat, right? So, is arriving, I will not use when I have arrives. अगर option ही नहीं है तो ठीक है, is arriving कर देंगे. But if you have arrives, remember official schedules and timetables, the flight is at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Okay, so the Prime Minister arrives at Rajghat. Official schedule and timetable, simple present. Okay. Here, present continuous. So, a very nuanced question, this one. Right? Will be arriving. This also sounds correct. And you are not at all wrong in marking this. Because it sounds correct to you. वैसे गलती है ये, but I understand your marking. When do we use will be arriving? So, we use it when something is expected to happen in the normal course of things. When something is expected to happen in the normal course of things. So let's say every summer every summer you go to your nanny's place, right? The simplest example. So this summer also is expected to happen. It's expected to happen in the normal course of things. So I'll be staying at my nanny's for 2 weeks. I'll be staying at my grandmom's for 2 weeks. This is what you can say. I will be staying. So you use the future continuous tense. Although this is a future simple event. Future simple का event है ये. But मैं future continuous use कर लेती हूँ उसके साथ when it is expected to happen in the normal course of things. How do you know that this is something that is expected to happen in the normal course of things? Just from one sentence you can't gauge this, no? That let's say every year the Prime Minister goes to the Rajghat at 10:30 p.m. sharp on a certain day. We don't know that, right? So that's why it should be arrives, official schedule and timetable. This will be arriving structure would have been used if, let's say, it was something that was expected to happen in the normal course of things. I hope this is clear, an important distinction, and you learned one new rule at least. Okay? Okay. So, confused, Sanket? Where is the confusion? I think A and B are very clear. This is not a personal event. Doesn't look like a personal event, right? So, is arriving can be very easily rejected. C is rejected because we don't know if it is something जो expected ही है कि होता ही है. For instance, if let's say I go to office every day, okay. So let's say there are particular centers that I go to. My office has branches, right? And I visit the Noida branch once every week on Friday. So one of my colleague calls me on Thursday and asks me, will you be coming tomorrow? Will you be coming tomorrow? उसने क्यों बोला will you be coming? Why did the colleague not say will you come tomorrow? Because this is something that is expected to happen in the normal course of events. मैं हर Friday जाती ही हूँ, right? So that's the difference. I hope now you get it. So yeah, B is the answer here. Let's move quickly to our next question. No Sharvi. When arrives is there, and that too I'm saying 10:30 sharp. That means bada scheduled event hai ye, right? Then I should use arrives, not will arrive. Okay? All right. Let's look at this. Okay. Spot the error. Let's see how quickly I get the correct answer. How to increase score in VARC? I am assuming you're asking about MAHCET. So there are a number of steps for it. First, you need to decide the order in which you will attempt your questions. And I always tell you that vocabulary and grammar should be preferred to RCs and parajumbles. You should always put them first, vocabulary and grammar. So that would be the first step, right? But see, of course, this is a very personal question also. You need to know what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. Then see, okay, is my weakness something that's very significant for the exam? If yes, then you need to work on that. Yes, clarify your concepts, go to the basics. If not, then focus on your strengths and increase your accuracy there, increase your marks there. So it's a very personal question on some level. No बच्चे, Sachin arrives does not mean कि वो पहुंच चुके हैं. Has arrived means कि वो पहुंच चुके हैं. Has arrived is that he has reached. Okay, arrives is not कि वो पहुंच चुके हैं. Okay, so I've got 1, 4, I've also got 2, I've also got 3. Okay. So, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. चलो, 4 किसने मार्क किया? Very good. रोहित, पराग, वर्षा, विशाल and सिद्धांत. Very good. If I've missed out anyone, I'm sorry. I am waiting since 10 a.m. or I have been waiting since 10 a.m. Remember, since and for, they are used when I talk about either the perfect tense or the perfect continuous tense. That is when you use these prepositions since and for. See this? Had been, perfect, continuous. That's when I used since or for. That was required there, right? So, ये present continuous के साथ आप नहीं use करते हो since and for. So, I have been waiting for him since 10 a.m. तब से wait करती आ रही हूँ. ये meaning है इसका. I have been waiting for him since 10 a.m. So, A is erroneous. B is fine. Since 10 a.m. No error there. I am expecting. Here, expecting. Here you basically want to say, I think, I suppose, I believe that he must have reached the metro station by now. When you talk about expecting in this sense, no, I think, I suppose, you do not use it in the progressive form. I expect that he must have reached the metro station by now. I think he must have reached the metro station by now. I suppose that he must have reached the metro station by now. No continuous form, and that is why 4 is our answer. Okay, so C was subtle, but A was a glaring error. You should have spotted it. Why I framed this question? I have seen a lot of people using this. I am doing this since so and so time point. That's incorrect. Okay, the last two concepts. Okay, it's actually one concept divided into 2 questions. You have to hear me very carefully here. First, let me see what you mark. Okay, and then I'll explain this to you. Okay, yes. Okay. A, D, C, all right. A, okay. All right. E, okay. सब कुछ ही आ गया, बस B रह गया अब. Okay. B भी आ गया. All right. A, B, C, D, E. So the concept here is that of conditionals. An important concept for you, right? See, we've already seen one question that involved a condition outcome relationship. It was here. If it rains, we will get wet. If it rains, we will get wet. Right? So I told you that when this is a future conditional, it's a future conditional, both the events will happen in the future, but in such a case, with the condition wala part, we use the present simple and not the future simple. That's what I told you. But the question is, what kind of a conditional is this? This is an actual real conditional. It's something that is possible in reality. No, reality में possible है कि अगर बारिश होती है तो हम भीग जाएंगे. Right? It's a real possibility. Now, this on the other hand, the question that we are dealing with, I am talking about hypothetical conditionals here. Hypothetical conditionals. If I were the president, मैं बस imagine कर रही हूँ ये, right? So I am saying, अगर मैं president होती ना, तो मैं ये proposal pass कर देती. If I were the president, I would pass this proposal. Now you must be wondering, why were with I? I singular were कैसे use कर दिया? So that's one of the qualities of hypothetical conditionals. They don't follow some rules of grammar. What you are trying to say is, so we call this case untrue in present. आप अभी present में बात कर रहे हो. At present आप president नहीं हो. तो आप कह रहे हो अगर मैं इस टाइम पे president होती ना मैं इस टाइम पे तो मैं ये proposal pass कर देती. So this is the structure that we use for something untrue in present. If plus were and then would in the outcome. Remember this. Let's say आप 20 years पहले की बात कर रहे हो और let's say आप उस टाइम की बात कर रहे हो जब इंदिरा गांधी तो प्राइम मिनिस्टर थी, सॉरी, यूएस का कोई केस ले लो जब रूजवेल्ट प्रेसिडेंट था, उस टाइम की बात हो रही है, राइट? सो if I had been the president at that time, if I had been the president at that time, untrue in past, उस टाइम पे भी मैं नहीं थी president, रूजवेल्ट था, right? So if I had been the president at that time, I would have passed this proposal. So had been, would have. Had been, would have. Untrue in past. Okay. This is untrue in present. Okay, something has happened to the marker, but untrue in present. You get this, right? So I'm figuring this out. Yeah, untrue in present, untrue in past. Okay, 3 and 2 are absolutely the same. It's just another way of writing 2. 3 is just no wait. They're not absolutely the same. यहाँ पर would have होना चाहिए था. Here would have should have appeared. See, had के साथ would have आता है. Remember this. Had, would have, were, would. So अब यहाँ पर वैसे ये ठीक है. This part is absolutely fine. Had I been the president. This is just one way of writing if I had been the president. You could also write it like this. Absolutely fine. This part is erroneous. Would have नहीं आना चाहिए था. Would have आना चाहिए था. Sorry, would नहीं आना चाहिए. I hope I'm not confusing you. ठीक है? तो 3 wrong है, right? So only 3 is the answer here. B is the answer here. So far so good. It's important to understand this. Only 3 is wrong. This is something that's untrue in present and this is something that's untrue in past. Now let's see another question. Let's see what you mark this time. Again, you have to spot the incorrect sentence. Okay, great. So far so good. Would have passed. Would have passed. See, the moment I use have or had ना, the moment I use the perfect tense, हमें क्या use करना होता है? Third form of the verb. Always the third form of the verb. So past, past, past. Third form is past. So would have, past. Okay. Some of you say A, some of you say C. Okay. बाकी सबको क्या हो गया? Last question of the day. Show some enthusiasm. E. Okay. So a toffee, a virtual toffee from my side to the Greek god. He is absolutely right here. The answer is none are incorrect. All of these sentences are correct. Okay. E is the answer. 3 concepts for you. I understand. You must have thought it should be it will get hot. Yes, that's why you said that okay, ये तो incorrect है. Right? But my intention here was to express this as a habitual action, was to express this as something that is true all the time, not just one time. Right? So, if it rains, people outside get wet. People outside get wet, or people on the road get wet. Okay, so now this is something that is true all the time, right? So I will write it in the present simple. But if you are talking about it as a future possibility, we will get wet. So ये आप बोल रहे हो कि ये one time event है. ये one time event की तरह आप उसको express कर रहे हो. That was the difference. This was expressed as a one time event, one time future event. That's why you use the future tense here. This, on the other hand, represents something that is true every time. No, whenever the sun shines all day, it does get hot. It gets hot. So this is that sort of an action that is true all the time. That is why it is correct. Here I am not saying that this one is incorrect. If you want to talk about it as a one-time thing, कि इस बार तो ऐसा हो ही जाएगा, then this is also fine. But my point, the point that I'm trying to make is this is also not incorrect. ये गलत नहीं है if this is something that is true all the time. ठीक है? अच्छा, sharing the toffee with Yashwant. Yes, Yashwant. Good. Okay. Now, all are okay. That's fine, Nikita. ठीक है. 2. I wish she were here with us. I wish she were. Wish है, hypothetical. See, in hypothetical statements, you don't use was. You realize this here, no? I were. In hypothetical statements, we do not use was. So, I wish she were here with us. I wish I were a butterfly. Right? So, she were. That means she is not hypothetical. Okay? This is absolutely fine. And the last one for the day, this is so far. See, I talked to you about something that was untrue in the present, something that is untrue in the past, something that you think is very unlikely in the future, very unlikely in the future. अभी तो present और past की बात तो कर ली. If you think that this is highly unlikely to the point of being untrue only in the future, then this is the structure that you use. Were to, would be or would not be, whatever the case is. Were to and would be. If she were to lose her job tomorrow, she would not be able to pay her bills. If she were to lose her job tomorrow, she would not be able to pay her bills. Unlikely, highly unlikely in the future. Okay, so none are incorrect here. All are incorrect. Acha, none is the moderator. It will be none are only. None is nahi hoga. Go back to the pronouns class. I talked about sanam pronouns. Okay. The N in sanam pronouns was none. And I told you that it depends on the context. What is the context? Here there are multiple sentences, no? Multiple sentences. So none of the sentences are incorrect. Not is. Okay? Okay. Good, Deepthi. Chalo. I hope this class was useful for you. Yes? and we learned some rules. We learned about conditionals, important topic, okay, real conditionals, hypothetical conditionals. If you have any queries, you can ask me right now, or you could even leave your comments in the comment section. You must have observed I respond there, right? And yes, do like the session if you liked it. Very important, all your free lectures are now at one place. I think you've been reading the messages in the chat box as well. Just go to the description box and there you will find MAHCET VARC lectures at one place, LRDI lectures at one place. So it's a very convenient thing for you now to access all your subject wise lectures, right? Okay, then no, the moderator, none does not mean no one. There is a difference. No one can be used only for people, only for persons, right? Whereas none is simply a proportion. It is simply a proportion. So you could say none of the cake. None of the cake was brown in color. Let's say पूरा का पूरा cake white था. So you can say none of the cake was brown in color. Okay. All right, a session statement and arguments, it's going to happen very soon. See, in all probability, I am going to start a series today on the Gradeup app where we'll discuss verbal reasoning. Okay, so statement assumptions, statement conclusions, strong weak arguments, all of these topics we are going to discuss over a span of 5 days on the Gradeup app at 5:30 p.m. So do attend, it's especially for MAHCET, very relevant, very useful for you. Okay. Also, because I had this request, I am going to start with a critical reasoning where we'll have full-fledged arguments. You'll have to weaken them, strengthen them, draw conclusions. This will happen on YT, okay, at 12 p.m. So as soon as we are done with this series, I think we are left with just one session, 1 or 2 sessions. As soon as we are done with this, we are going to start critical reasoning. So reasoning hi chalega, app par bhi, YT par bhi, you can attend the sessions. Okay, 12 p.m. on YT, 5:30 p.m. on the Gradeup app. Okay. Welcome Siddhant. Critical reasoning होने वाला है, बस 1-2 sessions रुक जाओ. Okay. Weber most likely from today. It's just that I have to get a setup installed today. Okay, so some people from office will be coming over. If they come near 5:30, then we'll have to postpone that class. Otherwise, मेरा plan ये है कि आज से start करनी है on the Gradeup app. ठीक है? Yes, these are free sessions for everybody. Okay, so these are the batch details. CAT 21, a batch that has already been launched, and in case you want to join, please don't delay any further. Okay, otherwise how will you cover the syllabus and everything? CAT 22, a lot of, as I said, foundational sessions available here. We'll go deep into concepts. Okay, we'll practice a lot of material. Okay. Then non-CAT batches, in case you're sure that you just have to take non-CAT exams, then this is the batch for you, right? A very recently launched batch. This is our super subscription, okay? Now, here you don't have to worry about whether I should join a CAT batch or non-CAT batch because everything is available here. You will get access to our CAT courses as well as our non-CAT courses. And this is our a list of our faculty members, right? You know all of us, you attend sessions by all of us. These are the details of our super subscription. The good part is that you get a lot of mentoring even for your GDPI sessions. And yes, do follow us on Telegram because we'll keep you updated. Okay, सब ये पूछते रहते हैं MAHCET कब होगा, जैसे ही आएगी डेट वैसे ही हम आपको अपडेट कर देंगे, ठीक है? So don't worry. Yes, today at 5:30 p.m. Welcome all of you. Bye. Bye.